Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and today is day 15 of my 100 days of Go and Rust video series, and today we're going to be talking about JSON. So just like the basics of using JSON in Go and Rust. So in Go, it has a built-in JSON library. Actually has a built-in encoding library and has an encoding for JSON. So for that, I can just use like a single file. So I'll just do that. I'm gonna use the where did my run go? Here's run.go. Okay, so the library, I'm gonna just get rid of the OS. We're not doing environmental variables right now, and it is encoding /JSON. Okay, so let's say I created a JSON string. Okay, and essentially there's two functions really that matter in this JSON library. There's marshal, which means turn into JSON, so you're marshalling it into the JSON format, and unmarshal, which means you're converting it from the JSON format. So let's say I want to convert something to the JSON format. Okay, what we would do is we would say, okay, let's just say result error equals JSON.marshal, and let's just double check. It's not happy. Let's see if I spelled the name of the library wrong. Encoding JSON, that is correct. And let's see here. Yeah, JSON.marshal just pass. Oh, you have to worry about the error there. So that's what's complaining about. JSON.marshal. I'll cross that bridge in a second. Let me see if I spell marshal right. Ah, it's only one L. Something. Always listen to your IDE. Your IDE's usually hinting at something. Still doesn't like it that I still spell it wrong. Marshal. I just wrote marshal. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's go with it. Okay. And let's just try encoding an array. Okay. And let me just see how they want to do that. Yeah, so they just do it, define the array in there. So let's just define an array of integers. Okay. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then we want to fmt.println. Ah, so it does return two values. Aha, okay. I figured there'd have to be a possibility of it erroring. Okay, so then, yep, there we go. fmt.println. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 for the result. If there's a result. Instead of doing an if statement, because I'm not handling the error really, I want to do another one for the result. fmt.println error. So nothing goes unused. So if there's a result, something should print out after result, and if there's an error, something will print out after error. So let's just try that out. Let me open up that Go folder in terminal. And let's just go run.go. Okay, result. So you can see we get the JSON object. Cool. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Nothing too crazy. Now let's say I want to convert a map. Let's try doing that. Okay, so say map. Okay, and then generally it's the keys and then the values. And then we pass in, I'll just say like name Alex Merced, and then age 36. Okay, so we got a map. Okay, we should look like a JSON object. So let's see what happens when we convert that. Go run go. And see that turns it into a bunch of bytes. which is what it did before anyways. My brain is just, I literally just woke up. Okay. Okay, so that turns into a bunch of bytes. So really what you want to do is we want to turn this into a string. So let's just do that. So string. Okay. Let's cast that to a string. And there we go. Okay. There's the JSON output. Okay. Cool. So that's how I would turn something into a JSON string. Okay, now what if I had a struct? Okay, so let's say I did this. We had person, type, actually let me define this out here. Type, person, struct. And again, that struct is going to have a name, which is a string, and an age, which we'll say is an integer. In this case, what we would do is we'd use a tag, which is, we'll use backticks. And because usually what's going to happen is that you're going to name these properties with like uppercases, because you might import these structs into another file. So these would need to be uppercases, but you don't want them to be name and age in the JSON data. You want it to be like name and age lowercase. So what you can do is you can use this tag here, and this allows you to specify like what is it called when it's serialized into JSON. So I can be like, hey, for JSON purposes, I want this to be age. For JSON purposes, I want this to be name. Okay. And then that's all fine and good. Okay, so now let's see what happens if I were to serialize a person. So we'll pass a person in here. So we'll say I want a new person of name Alex Merced, age 36. Okay. And let's see. And there you go, see? And it changes the property down to lowercase. Okay, so that's how that works as far as like, again, converting to a JSON string. Now what if we want to parse a JSON string? Then we're going to use unmarshal. I think that's camel case, isn't it? Let me see here. Let's look. Unmarshal, no, it's not camel case. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's see here. I think I should be able to. Now what you want to do is you have to declare a variable for it to like store the result in. Okay, so we would declare let's say var result, which will be a array of bytes. Okay, and you've seen these array of bytes. You saw them right here. These are arrays of bytes, like just little bytes. Okay, a result of byte, and then what we're going to do is say error equals JSON dot unmarshal. Okay, in the first argument, we're going to pass in the JSON string. Okay, and basically what we have to do is do an array of bytes. Let's see how they took that. Okay, yeah. So we're going to say an array of bytes. Did they do that in curly brackets? No, parentheses. Okay, so we're creating a array of bytes, and we're going to use backticks, and then I'll just pass in the same string here, age, copy, Alex Merced. Okay, and then we'll say I want to store that in result. Okay, let me check one more thing. Bytes map string Actually, no. What I want to do is declare this as a person, because see, it matches the scheme of person. So he has an age and name. So I should be able to just create a variable called person. I remember doing this inside the Buffalo framework. Person. That's going to store that in that person as a person. And then we will fmt.println. Okay, if there's an error, we should get something under error. If there isn't an error, I should get a result. And that'll be under result. We'll see what result is. Okay, Json cannot marshal object into go value of type main.person results. And then, so I did get an error, as you can see. So we can see like, hey, like I got an error. Now it doesn't want to convert into a person. So in that case, yeah, let's convert it. Let's try the map method. So we'll say a map of string. Okay, gonna convert into that. And we do get a map. There we go. So there's the map. Wonderful. See, that time we didn't get an error. Okay. I'm pretty sure there's a way to unmarshal it to, let's see here, at res. Yeah, see, res is a response. Did they do anything special? Strings. I'll have to read that a little bit deeper later. Okay. Okay, but I mean, the easiest thing to do is you can always just take the JSON, turn it to a map, and then convert it from there. Okay, but so that's how you can convert stuff to JSON from JSON. That's all fun and good. Now for Rust. Now Rust, I didn't see a clear distinction of there being like a standard library for the JSON, but there is sort of a standard library that is used called Serde. I remember having to use this when I was working with like Rust Rocket. Okay, so let's like actually install Serde. Okay. So let's just go to Serde. Okay, well, fine. Let me just copy this. And the version's 1.059. That's the current version. So again, I need to go to my cargo project here, cargo.toml. And it should be like that equals, and then I'll copy the version number. Okay. That's generally how you want to do it. Okay. And now we should be able to use it. Okay, so we'll follow the docs. Use Serde JSON. Okay, and then we're going to pull out these particular things out of it. Okay, so let's see here. Untyped example. Let's just kind of look at it. So function, untyped example, result. Some JSON input data as a string. Let data equal. Okay. So it's bytes. Maybe so. Some JSON input data as a string. This comes from the user. Parse a string of data into Serde JSON. Okay, value Serde JSON from string data. Okay, and again that returns a result, so we can use a question mark. Access parts of the data by indexing with square brackets. Okay, so yeah, it just turns it into a map or hash map. How about parsing JSON? Okay. Let's just start with this. So let's first copy the import. So if I go to we'll go to main. I want to say, hey, I also want to use this. we'll create a new string value. Let me see like how they wanted to do that, because I think they want specifically a str, not a string. Okay. So I will just copy this string here. Okay, we just say like let example equal. Okay, so there's our example string. Okay, I'm going to assume this prefix and ending has some sort of syntactical aspect to it. Maybe like, I'm going to assume that maybe allows it to be multi-line strings. That's going to be my assumption. Okay. And then we would just use this function right here. So we'll just say let results equal Saturday JSON dot from string. Is that what it was called? From string? Oh, from stir. Okay, from stir, and then we pass in the example string. And then we're gonna check for an error, so we just do that. And then we would print line. And then we would just see here. I would actually like to see the full thing, so let's do this. Results, see if that lets me do that. Okay. And I'm sure we'll get some errors. Generally, you know, that's just how life goes with Rust. Okay, so let me open up this folder in terminal. Again, we're going to use cargo run. But see, now it's going to download the library, assuming I wrote it down successfully. It looks like I did. So it's going to go download the library, because that's when it installs the libraries. I listed inside the cargo.toml, and then whenever I decide I want to run or build or whatnot, it's going to install the library. Okay. So that's going to do that. It's going to probably take a bit. But we'll just continue looking at it. But basically, that's pretty straightforward. You just take a JSON string, pass it to this function. This is sort of like the most popular library for doing this. So essentially, that's the one. Okay. Now, again, we're parsing a JSON string there. Now, if we wanted to convert something to a JSON string, let's say here, constructing JSON values. Here we go. Provides a JSON macro. Oh, okay, nice. So essentially what we can do here is you just pass in a hash type value like that, and you just use the JSON macro, and you should have JSON. Okay. And then we can just convert that to a string. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Now, in this case, if we want to serialize, oh yeah, this I remember. Okay, yeah, so you have to put, so again, all these attributes, when you do this, so this is another style of macro, but this macro is for adding stuff to structs. So this derive macro allows you to derive certain attributes or traits onto a struct. So that way that struct gets those methods. So oftentimes what it does, it just kind of creates a boilerplate implementations for those methods. Because generally you're going to write the same, like how you create the implementation is pretty the same. The only difference is just like what are the properties of that particular struct. So I can just do this, and that'll automatically implement the proper methods for me to be able to use like all the methods inside Saturday or Serd, however it's pronounced. Okay, so in this case, address becomes serializable. So in this case, if we were to create an address, so here they create an address, and then they're able to use Saturday to turn the address into a JSON string. Okay. Nice. Okay. But this is supported as a restaurant. Again, there's just some extra stuff. Okay. So let's see if that finished. Oh, of course we got some errors. Let's take a look. A function that returns Yeah, I have a feeling that I have an issue with like my version of Rust, possibly. Oh, let's see here. Let's go through all these. Cannot find macro print line in the scope. Oh, because it's not the uppercase. So that's first off. Print line. So it's lowercase. Okay, because again, it runs the macros first, so that's why that error pops up first, even though it's at the bottom of the line. Expected value from create Saturday. Use the path separator to refer to an item. That's right. We don't use dots. We use double colons. When we're talking about like using members of like static members or members of a library. So there's that. Okay, it's complaining I didn't use those, but that's fine. Can only use, so but that might be fixed now that I fix the syntax. Okay, still doesn't like it. Okay. Yeah, even though technically it's supposed to return a result, but I'm not going to worry about it. Here's what we're going to do instead. We're just going to say dot not expect. I want to do okay. So if it's okay, leave it, let it go. Okay, again, that's the shortcut. Okay, see what it doesn't like now. So type annotation is needed for option T, where confer cannot infer type for type parameter T. Ah, okay, so it's expecting. I would be expecting that I'd be getting a. What should that be returning? Let's go back. How do these work? Value. Okay, so that's what this is, a JSON value that we need that type for that purpose. Okay. So in that case, value. Actually, yeah, value. I don't need these. Again, Rust is definitely my weaker of the two languages, which is actually a big reason why I'm doing this whole 100 days thing, for me to get better at these languages. Okay. But again, what I love about Rust is the errors are quality. Again, it's as difficult as this language is, it definitely tries to help you. Result, okay, I get that. So they expected enum value, but found enum option. Expected enum value, found enum option. Warning to previous error. Okay, let's see here, string. Let's see here, if I do that, let's see what I end up with. Okay, found enum result. Okay. And let's just do the match. Let's do the match. So we'll let this variable do that. Semicolon. And we'll put this on a separate line. And we'll do a match. And then I will do the curly brackets for the match. And then I'll assume that there should be a value. Okay. So we'll say value v. Okay. Then let's just say first let's just kind of figure out what's in there. Print line v. Okay. Then if there's an error, we'll say E for error. Print line error. I don't know if this will give me an OK struct or OK tuple, so let's just capture that just in case. Okay. B error B value, and then for pretty much any other situation, print line no match. Okay. And I'm going to comment out this and this for now. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, you might have to match against enum's non-tuple variant. Try to match against one of the enum's variants value. I see. Expected a tuple struct or tuple variant found enum value. Okay. So I guess we'll just do this. I'll add those options in there. Why not? Okay, we'll see if those help out. Okay, let's go through these. Result. This expression has a type result. It's an error. Bool expected num result found enum value. Enum result. This expression has type result. Enum value. So let's think about this for a second. Let's go back to the example. Let v value equals Saturday JSON from string data. Okay. And that's what that should do. Let's see, it says that function has a return value of result. But what happens if I just do value? Get rid of all these. And try one of those. Okay, we're getting closer, I think. C value not found in this scope. Oh, that's right, value. So let me do that. Value. So it did find the value, I'm assuming. That seems like what it said. Source, unused imports, result, value. Going to information. Let's see here. Type annotations needed. So it does return a value. So that's strange. It just doesn't let me do this. Let result value equal JSON or Saturday JSON from stir. Then we will pass on again the example string. And we'll just try that again. Although it does not like that. Then we will do that. Okay, the function will result. Can only be used in a function that returns result or option, but this returns a result. Okay, from residual. Okay, fine. Then how about we do dot OK? Expected enum value, found enum option. What if I just don't use it at all? Let's see here. Is there anything I'm doing that's not? I am using the question mark. And I mean here saying this is all part of a function. Okay. A string of JSON data can be parsed into a JSON from slice for parsing from a byte of slice that you ate from reader. Let's see here. You found enum result. Okay, so let's see what happens if I just type this as a result, and then we're just going to print the result. I'm curious, what's in there? Okay. It says let result equals result. One generic argument. Go to type alias defined here with one generic parameter. Okay. Let's see here. Describe to me what their version of result is. Actually, it's right there. I think over here. Okay, let's go back to Saturday JSON. I'll look at the functions. I want to look at from string. Okay. String a t. The conversion can fail, and structure of the input does not match the structure of t. You can use unwrap. That's an idea. So what if I did this? String or stir, and then here I wrote dot unwrap, and we try to unwrap it to a string, which means I don't really need this anymore theoretically. The trait size is not implemented for. Okay, fine, let's just do it to type string. So I do that. Okay, I don't think it's, here we go. Well, no, I didn't get any errors this time, so what did I get at the bottom? Aha! Yes. We got some of the data. Let's see here. Thread main panic that called results on an error value. Jeez. Okay, let me just see here. Rust dash dash version. Or actually, it would be like, what's the thing I'm thinking of? It would be Rust, not Rust and not cargo, Rust. Oh, Rust up. There we go. Dash dash update. See, this makes a difference if it updates. Right back. Okay, so while that was updating, I did go and do some reading on that question mark. Now, so the reason I was getting that error for like using the question mark operator was because to use the question mark operator, not only do you have to use it on like when a result is returned, but you have to use it within a function that returns a result. So I'd have to like type my main function to return a result, which is something you can do now, but I'm not going to do right now. Okay, and what I will do, let result, again, we'll just say let result value, and I just wanted to say expect, and then we have to pass an argument to expect. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, and I want to do that again, and let's give this a shot. Oh, that's where that was coming from. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Cargo run. Okay, and this time it worked. Okay. Cool. So what did I do? I just used expect. Expect just again, what expect does, it's like okay. The difference is that it will panic, meaning it'll throw an error if it didn't work. Let me see what, but if that worked, why didn't OK work earlier? So let's try that out. I think it's because OK is expecting an OK tuple. That's probably the deal. Yeah, so you expected enum value, found enum option. Yeah, because I think OK returns an option enum. It turns it into an option. It turns the result into an option, I'm assuming. Okay, so that's why that doesn't work. But expect just basically it's like it's successful. As long as there's no error, it just gives you back the other value. So expect we. So that's fine. Okay, and I get this object. Okay, in there that has the thing in there. Okay, so that kind of works. Okay, so that's kind of how you could encode a string into JSON. Okay, fun times. Now let's talk about how we could take that JSON string and decode it. Okay, so let's go back from string. Now we're doing it to string. It's structured to a string of JSON. Okay, string of JSON. Okay, results. So I'm just going to give it a value. Okay, so let's just do that. So let's do this. I am going to just create an array. So we'll just say let r equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And we're going to say, let's comment this out. So I'm going to say let JSON equal third to string. Is it to string or to stir? To string. Okay. And then we're going to pass in R. Okay. And that return a result? Yeah, it does return a result. So we'll use expect again. Dot expect. Didn't work. Okay. And then we will we'll print the JSON result back. And let's just run that. Okay, let's see why I didn't like that. Expected reference. Found an array. Okay, so once it's the borrow it, so that's an easy fix. We just put the, and again, always looking for these pieces because these are where the suggestions go, which is always helpful. And it works. Let's turn the array into JSON. Okay, so we see it right there. Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's how you do it in Rust, and we finally kind of figured out what the deal with that question mark operator was. To use the question mark operator, you have to use it within another function, and the function that you're using it within has to return a result. So it's not that the function that you're putting it the question mark behind of returns a result, but the function it's encapsulated in returns a result. Kind of like async await in JavaScript, where you have to use await within an async function. You have to use this question mark within a result returning function. So that clarifies. And yeah, okay, so we hit, usually hit some walls with Rust, but we figured them out, and then we know now we understand what's going on a lot better. Okay, so with that, my name is Alex Merced. Again, if you like the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on YouTube. Also, now all these videos will be posted on Odyssey as well, so you can follow me there as well, and I'll see you all later.